Many people say, new year, new me. And for Sarah Boone, this is her case as well, except it's not really her choice. She is getting moved from her jail that she has spent 4 years in to her now new home, which is Lowell Prison, or Lowell Correctional Institution. We've learned so much while she spent her time in the Orlando jail. She was there for almost 4 years. She would constantly cause trouble with the guards, with them even having to write when they would even have to give her a negative for the day for her attitude and behavior. Not a surprise at all, though. I'm sure she will continue doing that. Unlike this cushy jail, she has many new restrictions coming in her new place. Now, when Sarah Boone took the stand, she said while she was up there that the last few years have actually been pretty good for her. Considering what she was going through and why she was there, it was shocking to hear. But I thought we would read what somebody else has to say about the same jail. When I was 21, I shoplifted a shirt from Macy's. I know. But I went to the women's Orange County jail for 3 days, and I thought that I'd share some of my observations from being there. Why it's my opinion that Sarah doesn't particularly hate jail and why she's enjoying Gen Pop. First, the place is enormous, and that's just where the women's jail is. I can't imagine how big the men's jail is. When you get to the main housing area, it looks like a big high school auditorium. It's like a big octagon. Then there are glass doors to each have huge dorms named after the military alphabet. She's right. There are huge open doors with 2 levels of bunks, TV, eating, office desk, all in the room. The showers, video, visitations, phone, eating, everything is in the dorm area because they are so big. So video visits are in the pod. But my attorney took me outside the door in that open gym area, and it's not as open as Sarah made it sound. Honestly, it was kind of fun. You actually get a lot of freedom. Each dorm has a yard area, and they leave the door open. So most of the day you can go outside and be at your own leisure. Plenty of payphones open most of the day, and you are allowed to call bail bondsmen. You also can get radios. I think you can buy tablets too. And girls at night would all put all the radios together and have dance parties. Now it's still jail, but you can imagine the women are much more pleasant and not violent like men. And it's clean. Honestly, way cleaner than I imagined. So I think she's got a mostly stable, clean, and organized life. Breakfast is something like 4 a.m. and they make you eat in complete silence. That is why she skips it so much. How interesting. I did see that she had skipped breakfast like 3 or 4 times in the last 6 months, and I was wondering about that. But yeah, I guess if you won't get up, they will not let you go later. And 4 a.m. is pretty early, so I think I understand that. I think, though, if the time is changed in prison, that she will quickly start conforming to getting up then. This prison sentence is going to be very isolating, and she will most likely really want to have the interaction with other people while she's able to have it. Here is a picture of her new home. That is 2 pods right there that are for the inmates. You see that there are glass doors so you can look in or out, and then they have 2 bunk beds. It doesn't look like they have radios, TVs. It doesn't look like they have anything like that here. Now, we do know for mealtime, they do almost like a cafeteria style setting. And much like schools that fill out what they're eating every single day in the calendar, and you can go see what they're eating next Tuesday, that is how Sarah Boone will be fed for the rest of her life, with these already pre-planned meals for the entire month. They do have a large canteen though, and if you don't know what that is, it's just a way for inmates to be able to buy specialty foods that they no longer will get while they're in jail. But notice, it's not all food and drinks. They also include various items, such as colored pencils, crayons, paper. They can buy all of these things as well. One of the rules that the prison follows is that she is not allowed to take or accept anything from anybody coming in and visiting her. But speaking of visitors, her son Lucas is still living full-time with his dad, Brian, and in order for him to see his mom, he has to be 18 or older to go by himself, which means if Lucas ever wants to see her, Brian has to take him to see her and sit there through however long they talk. Judging how all this went down and how Brian was, I think he most likely will take Lucas to go visit her. He seems to be very hands-on, and I think he's reasonable, whereas I think if roles were reversed, Sarah would not take Lucas to see him. So much like the jail, the prison will also have a chaplain, and the services with that include chapel library program, faith and character, religious education, worship services. So if Sarah really is continuing down that road, she will have plenty of opportunities. They also have betterment programs, and that's really just to help them literally better themselves, but also maybe work on overcoming certain things. I'm going to go ahead and read the list to you. Betterment Programs: A&A, Alternative to Violence Program, Art Therapy, Boot Camp, Compass 180, Dance to Be Free, Gavel Club, HIV STD Awareness, Inmate Wellness Program, Lactation Program, Law Library Program, Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction, Parenting, Peer-to-Peer Dormitory, Thinking for a Change, Women Helping Women, Women Offering Obedience and Friendship, and Yoga. So there are plenty of other things that she can be doing. I thought that Dance to Be Free was a pretty silly name for it because they are not getting free if they're in there for life. They also offer other programs, kind of like higher up programs, if you will. You can go for basic adult education, general ed, special education services, Title I services, volunteer literacy program, applied information technologies, cosmetology, culinary arts, electrical, equine care, heavy equipment, manufacturing, and WOOF, advanced dog training / handler. So many things she could dip her toes in and see if she likes anything. I'm sure there will be several that she'll pick up on and do. It will be a good way for her and other inmates to spend some of their time instead of spending every single day sitting around doing nothing. I was pretty surprised to see that this prison has set rules on time. Of course they have set rules, but the times that they give that are set are just a little bit odd to me. It is 9 to 3 every single day. So if somebody's working and they get off at 5, they will not be able to go. So really that only leaves them the weekend for those 2 days. Now we do know that this prison is fairly large and there is actually 968 inmates right now. We're going to go ahead and read what some inmates who are now out think about Lowell. And I have to say, it's all very bad things. I did years at Lowell Correctional, Florida. It took me 3 months to receive my tablet, but it was free. Of course, if she wants games or movies, those are not free. But while she is waiting on her tablet, they have a kiosk in the dorm and she can send and receive messages and pictures, and she can pay, I think, 25 cents to have pictures you send print out. The hygiene products suck, and the toothpaste is horrible. Even during hard times, just sending enough money to get good hygiene products was hard. They get one 30-minute phone call that costs around $6. Once the phone call ends, she cannot call you back right away. This person's review says, Lowell is like hell on earth. Lowell is the stuff that nightmares are made of. I remember reading an article about how the warden was just fine with all the R words that I can't say so I don't get in trouble on YouTube of female inmates by staff. Absolutely terrifying. A friend of mine was incarcerated in Florida. She spent some time at Lowell and said it was a dark, dark place. Honestly, it is a nightmare. I served 3 years for fraud crimes, and was housed with lifers due to overpopulation. And I was assigned to be a CNA, basically for the elderly women serving in prison. Even if the temperatures reach 100 degrees, they do not have AC. Yes, my mom is an inmate there, and it is just about as scary as it gets. Prisons are not required to release the cause of death of an inmate. Thus, guards literally get away with murder. The water is contaminated, the guards are R-words, and murderers within the prison. I did time at both Lowell and Gadsden. Gadsden's medical care is a nightmare, and I am paying for it today. But Lowell is hell on steroids. I read a report that both of their Lowell prisons are right next to each other and inmates go back and forth. It is the second worst women's prison in America. The officers beat and are women. Some have been killed and one paralyzed from the neck down. That is absolutely scary and insane. Lowell is dirty, lots of fights, really poor living conditions, and no AC. It's really bad. So we totally get the sense of anyone who has been there that is now out says it's awful. And even the people who are visiting the inmates think it's a little bit dirty and scary as well. So they can't imagine living there. But for some of these women, they will be there the rest of their lives. I would say that's for sure with Sarah, but sometimes inmates do transfer to different prisons just because of different scenarios. But if it sits as it is now, that is where Sarah Boone will be until she dies. And I'm going to end this video on one little news story that I heard that is just completely gossip, but it definitely sparked my curiosity. There is a rumor that Brian and Lucas moved houses to be closer to where Sarah will be living. Now, obviously, that's not confirmed yet, but I'm definitely going to be watching and paying attention. It'd be pretty interesting if Brian did that just, for Lucas so he could see his mom. But we'll just have to wait and see. Thank you for watching, and I hope that if you are watching this the day it's released, that you're having a good holiday and that you have a good new year.